Honorable Minister Duncan, Senator Sidman, député Matt General, Albus Lindsay Park, les invités distincts, Mesdames et Messieurs, bonsoir. Bonsoir et bienvenue à la 10e conférence sur les politiques scientifiques. C'est un grand honneur et un immense plaisir de vous présenter la 10e conférence. Nous avons fait de grands progrès depuis notre première conférence en 2009. À cette époque, il était nécessaire d'engager le dialogue et de prendre au sérieux la politique scientifique. Nous avons choisi de prendre à ces besoins au moyen d'une initiative communautaire, d'une démarche ascendante. Nous voulions créer une institution par et pour la prochaine génération, fondée sur une vision de l'avenir. De nos débuts, nous avons insisté sur l'inclusion et l'importance du dialogue. We were dreaming big and wanted to build an institution by and for the next generation, based on a vision for the future. We gathered a community that was fragmented and did not have a forum. We brought together sectors, disciplines, regions, and generations. We have worked hard to deliver. Often we had to make compromises due to the lack of resources, but we stayed hopeful, and it was not always easy. But we did it, and we survived, and we made thousands of friends and numerous partners. And today, at the 10th conference, I happily say that we have succeeded. The 10th conference is the largest CSPC ever, with more than 50 panels, 267 speakers, and a record-breaking registrants that has reached the capacity and number 800. We have built the foundation for that national institution, and we are hoping to move forward and expand its frontiers. This would not have been possible without the hard work of the greater CSPC team that includes the board of directors and our volunteers. And can I ask the board of directors and volunteers to stand up to be recognized, and they deserve a big round of applause, please. Thank you. Today's science policy is more important than ever. In particular, in Canada, I can clearly see the advancement of science policy since the time that we started in 2009. The landscape has changed with 4 major developments. We are witnessing the growth of the culture and the understanding of the importance of evidence-based decision-making. Canada has now a chief science advisor, and her role is to ensure that evidence is engaged in policy making. And the good news is that with her championship, that model is proliferating across federal departments, thanks to hard work of Dr. Mona Nemer. Second, there is an ongoing progress on upgrading and updating the scientific research infrastructure, many based on the recommendations of the Fundamental Science Review Panel. Those include, but not limited to, increase coordination and efficiency among main organizations of science enterprise, and a special attention to young researchers and indigenous communities. Third, the national campaign on equity and diversity, which has had significant impact on ensuring that scientific community is a place for everyone. I think that was from Ryerson table. And last year, federal budget included significant investment, providing consistent funding increase for scientific research in Canada. So many people, thousands of individuals, students, profs, organizations have made an effort to make sure that the budget deliver. However, there is one particular person that we would like to thank tonight, who was instrumental in bringing this about, and that is none other than the Honorable Christy Duncan, Minister of Science. Thank you, Minister. And as always, after all good stories, there is but. Despite the advances we have had, I stood up here last year, it was in this venue, but delivered the same message that I can repeat again tonight, that the infrastructure of science policy is still weak and needs significant attention and care. And let me tell you why it matters. It matters because the discussion and answers to some of the very challenges that we are facing today can be explored through science policy. These serious challenges may risk even our survival as a planet. Things have become more and more complex, and the speed of progress and change has at times caught us off guard. For example, the big data. The data that is generated is a huge challenge. Every day there are 2.5 quintillion bytes. I practice to say it right. 2.5 quintillion bytes of data generated, and that is equal to 2,500,000 hardware every day. Every day. So the data that is generated in the last 2 years alone is 90% of the data, total data that we have generated. At the same time, and despite this many data that we have available, we are facing immense challenges that seem difficult to address. We are faced with significant threats to the state of our environment, to our health through new pandemics, the state of global security, population increase, supply of clean water, and safe food. Every single day we are facing new challenges. These challenges are not in some distant part of the world. They are here. Right here, and we are facing them. Thousands and thousands of people are walking, they call it a caravan. They are walking thousands of kilometers to get to a safe place, to a better life. This is right here, and it's happening in front of our eyes. In terms of technology, the artificial intelligence is dominating everything at an unprecedented rate. And there is much speculation about the impact on workforce. And the question is, how can people take care of their families if they are replaced by AI? And then there is the Arctic and the impact of global warming and the consequences on us in Canada. The impacts remain beyond imagination. How can we reduce its impact? I cannot talk about the prevention because we have passed that stage. We can talk about controlling the impact. And what about the impact of cannabis legalization, legal assisted death, CRISPR, the future of gene editing, and the opioid crisis? And I can't forget when our premiers went down to the US to meet with 30-plus governors of the different states in the US. I guess Prime Minister was with them. During the question and answers period, the first question that raised was from a governor to the Canadian delegation, that how do you deal with opioid crisis? That was the Canadian delegation, the premiers down to the states, and the government asked about opioid crisis because the policymakers are thirsty about the solutions, about the best practices, because there are complex issues. And at a greater level, our problems have pushed some toward extremism, xenophobia, and questioning the value of democracy even. And too many people have felt left out. Why, where, which part, and how did it happen? Science, social sciences, natural sciences, interdisciplinary sciences must be able to help by understanding the issues and providing the solutions. And this is why we need strong institutions in science policy to help translate science into policies. And science policy can be a path to the solutions we are looking for. And I must add that science policy must discuss the status of science itself, as science too needs to evolve, as it has always been, to remain an effective source of help. Let me read a quote from Nature magazine. Quote says, "It is right that more scientists should tell stories of the good that research can do. But it is more important and urgent than ever that researchers should question how these stories really end and whether too many people they claim to act for don't really get to live happily ever after. Equally, They should focus more efforts on how science education and scientific research can help the many whose jobs are growing to be displaced by the very invention that scientists are producing. End of quote. Science itself must be democratized. Some may say science is elitist by nature. If so, overcoming the elitism is our challenge. Democratization of science has begun by participatory science in many fields, and this must be encouraged and must be empowered through investment. And we must ensure that science and scientific institutions are connected to communities. How are universities connected to the neighborhoods across the streets? And how those universities ever heard from the university how those communities ever heard from the universities in their neighborhood? And has university explained the research that is being conducted there and how it may relate to the daily life of their neighbors? This could be one of the ways that we can get public engaged with scientific research in whatever discipline, as the public become part of the research and better understand the challenges of our world. So we are in a moment in our history of many serious challenges, but we have the creativity and capacity to think of potential solutions. Within this world of complex challenges and possible solutions, there is our tiny but ambitious CSPC, and tries to help, to facilitate, to connect, and to convene. And we have been doing this for the past 9 years. Our goal was and is to make sure all the important challenges and the creative solutions are on our collective radar, and we are being discussed. And they are become and remain part of our national and global dialogue. And at this moment of joy and celebration, I would like to thank all individuals and organizations who shared our aspirations and believed in us and in our objectives. To all those who supported us through all these years, thank you for your trust, thank you for your company, thank you for your participation. We need your support to continue building our tiny but ambitious organization into what we hope will one day become a true national institution. Merci beaucoup et bonne soirée.